How do we know that Christianity is actually true? This is such an important question for us to ask ourselves, whether we would consider ourselves followers of Jesus and believers in God, or skeptics to a belief in God. Because if Christianity is true, it changes everything. In order for us to properly have this discussion, we need to look at the truth itself. And this is because we live in what is called the postmodern era, where the predominant philosophy that people hold is a postmodern one. This is a reaction to a previous philosophy known as modernism, when everything was made into big structures. We had big corporations, everything was industrialised. It was like the McDonaldization of everything, if you like. Postmodernism is a reaction to modernism because in the previous century, as this philosophy was at its peak, more people were killed than in the previous 19 centuries before that combined. So as a result, postmodernism wants to remove all structure and it wants to relativize everything. This sounded like a great idea to some people, but there was one big casualty in all of this. The truth was relativized. And why is that significant? Well, because if I hold something as true for me and you hold something that is true for you, in a lot of situations, one of us has to be wrong. I can't, for example, believe that the sky is green while you believe that the sky is blue. One of us has to be wrong because the truth by definition excludes that which is false. As a result of the relativization of truth, a lot of people just do not know what to think anymore. All of the big structures in society, the church and Christianity included, has been questioned. In some ways this is a good thing, but it's important for us to understand that the truth remains true whether we want to believe it or not. It's also important for us to remember that we can't judge Christianity by the way that some Christians have been. Sadly, as Christians, we are imperfect people and we get things wrong all of the time. But that is not a reflection of the God that Christians proclaim to serve. Augustine said to never judge a philosophy, or we could even say a religion here, by its abuse. It's so vital that we do the same with Christianity. So in what ways is Christianity true? Well, I'm going to name just a few in this video to get us started, but it's important that you continue to look into this issue for yourself. First of all, I believe that Christianity is true on a principle level. The principles that are found in Christianity and ultimately in the Bible are fundamental to democracy and the life that we in the West enjoy. For example, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, doing to others as you would have them do to you. These are all fundamental Christian principles. It's encouraging to see that many thinkers that come from a secular background are now beginning to see and even argue for the values found in the Bible as fundamental to society. Tom Holland and Jordan Peterson are just a couple of names that we could pick out of many who are arguing for the place of Christianity in Western civilization, and actually how, as postmodernists, when we remove all religion and all truth, it's to our detriment. I also believe that history can help us see whether Christianity is true or not. For example, we can look back over the years and years that have followed since Jesus was on earth and see the followers of Jesus that have paid, often with their lives, for their faith. We can also look at the Bible as a historical document and test it against other ancient documents at the time. It's amazing to see that there is so many copies from very, very early on of the New Testament writings especially. Here in the UK, there's one of the earliest complete copies of the New Testament in Greek, and there's also one of the earliest copies of a fragment of the New Testament from the Gospel of John. This little fragment can be traced to within 20 to 50 years after Jesus was actually walking on the earth. This, when compared to other ancient manuscripts from people such as Plato, Homer, or even Julius Caesar, is incredible. So the Bible is a historic document that can be trusted. Many modern historians, even atheists, do not argue that Jesus was a real person who really existed. The last and most important level why I think Christianity is true is the relational level. As we look around the world today, we can see thousands, if not millions of hearts that have been changed and transformed through a relationship with Jesus Christ. These lives that are a message and a testimony to us can serve as an example of what Jesus Christ still does today in so many lives. The cross of Christ stands over and above the symbols of so many other religions, where it's all about getting closer to God or making your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. The cross of Christ stands as a symbol where God came down and incarnated himself amongst mankind. He became one of us before we were good enough, before we deserved him, and not even while we were looking, in order to save us. The four biggest questions in life are often summed up as evil, justice, love, and forgiveness. They're the fundamental to human life. There is one place in history where all four of these things converged at once, and that is at the cross. Jesus, in his physical body, bore the sin of mankind. He faced evil head on. God's perfect justice was laid upon him in our place through Jesus' perfect love to lay down his life for us so that we could receive forgiveness for everything that we've ever done wrong. There's no other message in any other religion that comes close to the incredible, mind-blowing message of Christianity that the first disciples took, and it spread like wildfire in the ancient world. Millions today still follow that same obscure Jewish carpenter today, and to me that is the ultimate proof that Jesus was the Messiah, the Son of God.